Beyond the chaos that the Trump administration is inducing every day that we're responding to here at the DNC, Democratic leaders across the country are delivering for Americans, not Donald Trump's billionaire friends. Which is why our new DNC chair, Ken Martin, is focused on getting the DNC out of DC and focused on organizing everywhere, especially in local elections, because those are the ones that we know really matter. Democratic mayors are leading the way in their communities, making their cities safer and everything more affordable. In Madison, Marsatia Rhodes Conway's Housing Forward program has promised to build over 2,000 new homes to expand affordable housing in the city. In Baltimore, Mayor Brandon Scott's crime prevention program is making the city safer, already leading to a 22% decrease in homicides. And in Cleveland, Mayor Justin Bibb led a program that successfully housed over 100 homeless people. Last week, the Democratic Mayors Association met in Cleveland to talk about how they're delivering for communities and fighting Donald Trump amidst all this chaos. I spoke with the president of the Democratic Mayors Association, Justin Bibb. Let's see how it went. Today, we're really excited to have the president of the Democratic Mayors Association with us to talk about how Democratic mayors are delivering. Mayor of Cleveland, Justin Bibb, is here with us today. Mayor Bibb, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Now, we know you're coming off of a very productive and exciting meeting of the Democratic Mayors Association in your hometown of Cleveland. Can you tell us a little bit more about the DMA, your role in the association, and why you all gathered in Cleveland?
Well, I'm honored to be the president of DMA, a group of over 400 mayors across this country, representing the biggest cities in America, but also small towns in this country as well too. And we had over 50 mayors in Cleveland over the past few days, really talking about our theme for this year, community over chaos. And when I gave that speech when I was sworn in January, I don't think anybody, especially me, didn't anticipate the level of chaos, cruelty, and confusion that we would see coming out of Washington, D.C. But that's what we've been experiencing. But despite that chaos, America's mayors, but especially the Democratic mayors of this great country, have been delivering. We've been delivering on addressing public safety. We're seeing historic declines in violent crimes and homicides in cities like Baltimore, Detroit, Atlanta, and the list goes on. We're tackling our nation's homelessness crisis. You look at what Mayor Todd Gloria has done in San Diego, decreasing the unsheltered population in his downtown by over 60%. And we're attracting more investment and good quality jobs in our cities, working side by side with the brothers and sisters of labor. And so every day we're delivering, and more people across this country need to see the good work that Democratic mayors are doing in every part of our respective nation.
So, some of Donald Trump's policies, the ones that are passed at the national level, are focused a lot at the local level. Are you on the you're on the front lines of fighting
Mhm.
them? How do you see the trickle down of some of Donald Trump's policies that he's passed? This one big beautiful bill, which is going to cut healthcare and food services for millions of individuals. How are you fighting that or thinking about fighting that at the local level?
Well, let's talk about the so-called big beautiful bill, for example. In Ohio, it's going to ensure that over 300,000 Ohioans are going to lose their health care. In Cleveland, in the greater Cleveland area, that means over 30,000 folks in my community may be kicked off their healthcare rolls. That means single moms may not be able to go to their new doctor's appointment as they're getting ready to have a new child. That means seniors may not be able to access good quality prescription drugs. That means an increasing strain on our public health infrastructure in urban centers like Cleveland, Ohio. And what's so shocking about what the president and this Republican-led Congress has done is they put exceptions in the bill for rural America, but nothing for urban America. The last time I checked, we were still one nation. Um, and so it's so devastating to see these impacts of this bill. But I will say this, despite the cruelty and chaos and destruction of the federal government and our social safety net coming out of DC, we're going to stand in the gap and find a way to still solve people's problems because, as any mayor will tell you, we don't have the luxury of inaction. No one gives a damn what party we are. They want to see results, and we're going to keep fighting the good fight.
What I'm hearing from you, Mayor, is that Democratic mayors are effective. You
Mhm.
mentioned before crime is down in some of these cities that are run by Democratic mayors, tackling the problems of homelessness. I'm wondering for some people that might not know about what mayors do, what are some of the most creative or inspiring projects that you see in your perch overseeing the Democratic mayors?
Well, I want to just talk about one thing we're doing in Cleveland that will probably be one of my most important accomplishments as mayor, and it's the work we're doing to house unsheltered brothers and sisters in my city. We saw an uptick in our unsheltered population coming out of the pandemic because the COVID-19 subsidies went away. The cost of housing continues to accelerate, and inflation continues to be a main concern, coupled with the many issues that folks are dealing with in terms of mental health and behavioral health issues. And so, to address this, we got the red tape out the way. As I've often said, we can't let process be an impediment to prosperity. And so we've been deploying a housing first approach in Cleveland. And in just 1 year, we've housed over 170 residents. We shut down over 50 encampments, and we did it with compassion and dignity. We didn't arrest people, but we met these folks where they are. And there are other examples in cities like Atlanta, where Mayor Dickens is leading the effort to convert old shipping containers into a pop-up housing facility to house the unsheltered. Countless example of mayors standing in the gap, getting the job done on some of the most vexing issues facing this country. We just have to do a better job of spreading the gospel and talking about the good work we're doing to really support and uplift the American people.
Well, we will absolutely help you do that here at the national level. Talking to you, I feel hopeful
Mm,
about ways that leaders across the country that are Democrats are improving people's lives. That's what the Democratic Party stands for. Someone who's watching this who might be a Democrat that feels anxious about what's going on, what would you say to them? How would they get involved, or how would you make them feel like all hope is not
mm.
lost?
Well, I saw countless example of the great work we're doing over the last couple of days in Cleveland when I was talking to mayors from Allentown to Scranton to Tulsa to Chicago. And folks may think that all hope is lost because of the cruelty and chaos we're seeing coming out of DC right now. But in small towns, mid-sized towns, and big towns across this country, there is countless examples of local leaders doing the hard work of listening and finding creative ways to solve problems. And so, as we talked extensively about during the summit in Cleveland, Washington ain't coming to save us. We got to save ourselves. And the best way to do it is to start in your hometown, get involved, and support your mayor in the work they're doing to move this country forward.
Mayor Bibb, thank you so much for speaking with us today. I hope what people take away from this is that Democratic mayors are doing everything they can to fight for them and that we want them to get involved. So thank you so much for your leadership, and we'll continue to support your efforts and Democratic mayors across the country.
Thanks for having me.